Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for what is going to be the last official interview at the J. Slay Made in the USA booth, where we explore truth, expose deception, and inspire courage. And like I've said, you never know who you're going to meet at these events. And I think, but prior to the event, I was looking up the different exhibitors, the different companies, and I thought that's a group that I want to meet. It's called Stand Up Now, dude. I'm sorry.
And we got a long event. Talked to a lot of people at these. Thanks for having me on. Save the best for last. That's how it goes.
That's right. This is the owner, Gerard White. He came up and said, "Dude, you tagged me on an Instagram post. I wanted to come say hello." And when you shared your story with me earlier, I was pretty fascinated by it. You got young kids, right? And this whole thing started at Disney World. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was just a father to two young, beautiful girls when my daughter wanted to go to Disney for her 5th birthday. And right before we were set to go, Disney said they were going to sue the state of Florida over the Don't Say Gay bill, 2 years ago. If you remember that as parents, even though it said nothing about being gay or anything about that. And as a father, I knew what truth was and I wasn't bothered by that. So I said, you know what? When families go to Disney World, they make T-shirts. I'm going to make a T-shirt real quick. I jumped online real quick. Rushordertees.com popped up because I needed a T-shirt fast. Jumped on, created a T-shirt that said, God made man and woman. Just a bathroom symbol, simple shirt. And they emailed me back and said they wouldn't make the shirt because it was inappropriate.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on a second.
Only all of humanity has believed that, but somehow it's inappropriate.
Right. And I'm like, well, at first I was like, what's inappropriate? Is it the God? Because where do you really lie? And anyway, so they wouldn't make the shirt, but I said, you know what? That's their right as a business. I respect that right. No problem. That doesn't mean I can't make the shirt. So I called somebody I knew locally, got the shirt made from a promo company. And that shirt went from one shirt for $30 to having to buy 24 to still make my statement. And I say that because
explain that. When you said that earlier, I didn't quite get it. So you had to buy 24?
I had to buy from this guy in order to get it made locally and have it in 3 days. The only resource that he had was a screen printer that would have minimal of 24.
Right.
So I had to do that. So it went from a $30 purchase to a $400 purchase almost.
Okay.
To make that happen. And I say that because God puts a little test along the way to say, how much do you want to make the statement? How much are you willing to stand up for me? Anyway, so I got the shirt. By the time we get to go, my wife, as a good wife, she says, don't ruin the family vacation. If they ask you to take this shirt off, take this shirt off,
Sure.
And she's bothered. I said, okay, well,
you want to stay out of the war when you're at Disney.
With my 2 daughters, of course. Like, all right, no problem, I will. But the opposite happened. And I went there and I wore the shirt. Hundreds of people stopped to take my picture, get out of line to shake my hand. And I realized it was every demographic, every age, black, white, young, old, it didn't matter. They all said, I love your shirt.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, the common person is sick of the just obvious deception that's being shoved down our throat, that there's a million genders and that kids are gender fluid. I mean, they're coming after the kids specifically, hence Disney.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right? So, so tell me where that's at. Like, well, first of all, where did it go from there? So everybody shaking your hand, congratulating you, said thank you.
Yep.
What happened then?
So it was at the point, it was just a statement. I'm leaving the park that night. I get a tap on my shoulder from a guy in his upper 60s. And I look up, he's wearing a Marine Corps hat. And he said, I had to come over and shake your hand. Thanks for wearing that shirt and being strong enough to say what needs to be said. And I thanked him for his service. My life, I wasn't able to serve in the military. My life took me in a different direction when I was younger. But I respect everybody that has served for our country, our founding fathers, everything our nation's built upon. I wouldn't be able to wear the shirt if it wasn't for the freedoms that we have in this nation. So I thanked him for his service. And then he went and got into his wheelchair. So a veteran got out of his wheelchair to shake my hand for wearing a shirt. And it hit me that we're in the biggest spiritual battle we're ever going to face. And if we don't stand up and join in God's army and stand up for truth, put God front and center, the nation that we're living in is going to be under attack. It's going to fall down. And we have to stand up and stand up now.
We're well on our way, as you know.
Sure.
Now, when you let's I'm going to ask a clarifying question on that, because when you say we, right, it's not like everybody in this nation's all of a sudden going to get their head on straight, because there's a lot of people that are tons of people that buy into this deception, right? Sure. So I see this, and you tell me what you think, as there's a divide happening, and it's inevitable. It's not like we could just call up our, hardcore leftist aunt and uncle and be like, listen, come on. Like, there's only 2 genders. Like, you can't make that happen. And the polls are getting further and further apart, where people that are ready for truth and people that want to be deceived because it's either A, comfortable, or B, they just like the deception. Right? Yeah. So we can say, let's all start telling the truth. I think for me that there's a divide that's happening, and that's why you're seeing so many Californians move to Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me your thoughts on that, on the future of people telling the truth versus there's a whole huge category of Americans that care nothing about what you're saying.
Well, just because people don't care about it doesn't mean that we that do means that we should stand on it, that we have to proclaim it. I think we have to proclaim it more. And we have to be ready to have those conversations. So when I started designing shirts, I want it to be a way to conversate, to get somebody to say something. Maybe they're afraid to think. Maybe they haven't had somebody to guide them along the way. So I truly believe that it takes that we have to do whatever we can do our part to get that conversation going, because a lot of people are misled. A lot of people feel comfortable living in deception, like you said, but do they really know anything other than that? Are they being told anything other than that?
Yeah.
And so our job, if we know it, we should have that conversation with them.
I love your idea of it. Yeah, it's an open door to the other side, but at the same time, it's if you're wearing your shirt is a call to people to say, I'm gonna stick my flag in the sand on this one. Is that what you say, flag in this?
I would say so. Yeah.
Is it flag in the sand?
I think that's right. Don't quote me for it.
Stake in the ground. Yeah, that's something like that. Yeah. Anyhow, but so it's both things.
Like the moon landing. Did that happen?
Oh, dude, we're not going there right now. You shouldn't have done that. Now I'm going to think
sorry. I had to test them.
We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. Thank you. So I'm going to do a whole show on it now. All right. So you were telling me when you sat down about Target.
Yeah.
And and we all know, like, Target's done some satanic stuff. They've done weird stuff. You brought up something I never heard before.
Yeah.
About the LGBTQ flag.
Yeah.
But was that as it relates to Target alone?
So going back to what you said is in our conversation, I was in Target with my wife 2 years ago before the boycott started.
Right.
A year ago, last year is what it was. And I saw on every boy's clothes, there were rainbows. And every boy's clothes option had a rainbow on it. I said, why? When I was younger, did your clothes have rainbows on them, your boy clothes that your mom and dad bought for you?
No, not really. I mean,
there was
maybe the one my grandmother got me that had to do with Noah's Ark and the rainbow.
Thank you.
Which would have been the traditional rainbow.
That would have had 7 colors.
So the answer is kind of I got a rainbow shirt, but it was biblical.
Yeah, and it wasn't every shirt had a rainbow, and there was no other options but a rainbow.
Yeah, and shirt. In 1986, no one in my area of Tennessee would have been like, "Is this a gay shirt?"
Exactly.
They would have been like, "Oh, biblical."
Yeah.
God's hijacked. God's rainbow.
Yeah. So now they've hijacked it, but what they've done is they've removed the blue color. If you look at the LGBTQ plus IAA, whatever it is flag, they have removed the blue from it, which is the color of purity. If you look up what each of the 7 colors means. So they've removed the purity, hijacked it, and they've taken it away and screwed it across everything. So now on these clothes, I see all these boys' rainbows. They don't have the blue color. Now, these clothes are cheap in Walmart. How many single moms are out there, don't have men in the household, are struggling? They buy these clothes because they're cute, they're $3, and they put their boys in them.
Yeah.
Now, what happens, these boys that don't have strong leaders in their house, they go to school, the teacher in the classroom has a rainbow flag in their class, or an LGBTQ flag, I'll call it that. And the boy goes, oh, I like rainbows. My shirt has rainbows. What does that mean? Oh, well, that means that you're gay. That means this. Oh, well, I like rainbows. Maybe that's who I am. They don't know the truth. They've never been told it, and they don't have a men to go to. So it's a slippery slope. And I know that these corporations are putting it on these children at an early age.
Yeah.
We're seeing the Netflix shows. How many kids today watch a series, a show, and as a parent, think, okay, that's an okay show. I'll let them watch that. Season 2, season 3 comes out. Now they're gay.
Yeah.
Or something happens.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids don't understand, and they fell in love with these characters, and they attach themselves to it.
Yeah.
And I think the world, through deception, is allowing people to attach to these worldly things and removing God's presence from it.
That's right. One other layer to the color thing, and I brought this up earlier, but I didn't think we were tracking on it.
Yeah.
When you have a boy or a girl, the traditional colors, pink for the girl, blue for the boys, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know that these globalists, these internationalists that hate, they hate strong men, really. They hate masculinity.
Absolutely.
What's the traditional boy's color? Blue.
Yeah.
That's another reason I think they'd pull blue.
Oh, could be.
Could
be. Well, look, they wanted to, and they.
I guarantee you they didn't pull purple.
No, they didn't.
Or pink.
They didn't. And they want to call it masculinity toxic,
Yeah.
But what's real masculinity today?
What is it by their standards?
No, to you.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a masculine male today?
I think it means to step into your purpose and to protect those that can't protect themselves,
Yep.
or be the protector you need to be a provider.
Yep.
and then go out and do all you can do. Be a presider over your dominion as well. Sure. Be in the home, in the workplace. That's being masculine, stepping into your calling from my perspective.
That's 100% what it is. That's exactly what masculinity is supposed to be. And you be a provider, protector, and really, like you said, put your arms around your family and lift them up and know where your purpose is. All three of the P's. So when you remove that and you put this toxic word on it, people get disgusted. But how many men today don't have a leader in their household? How many men weren't shown that that's what it takes to be a true man today? And that's why they want to destroy and remove the man in every way. Yeah. And it's the biblical leader of a family, because it's proven that when you have a male in the household who has God-centered, 74% of the family will come to know the Lord and know Christ. 74%.
Yeah, I've heard that stat as well. It's amazing, and it's amazingly important. So if people want to connect with you, with the company, yeah, where should they go? I know you got an Instagram.
I do. I got Instagrams at StandUpNow2022, but the website for the apparel is StandUpNowApparel.com. You can check us out there, and I love the fact of what you're doing, man. I'm glad we got to connect. I appreciate you reaching out on Instagram.
Absolutely.
So, this convention has been amazing. If nobody's never been to NRB, I would say plan to come next year. It's
absolutely
awesome.
Yeah, brother. Thank you. Great meeting you.
Really appreciate you.